What is the difference between Reiki and trance mediumship healing? Reiki is an ancient Japanese system of energy healing. To become a Reiki practitioner, there is usually a mentorship involved. I mentored for several years privately under an amazing Reiki master. There are symbols to be learned that aid in the healing and assist with the movement of the energy. And since it's Japanese, it is very, I want to say, ceremonial, and there are some initiation processes that happen during Reiki. That is for the practitioner. On the recipient side, Reiki is just a really gentle but powerful healing energy. And oftentimes the recipient experiences both healings kind of similarly, just depending on their level of energetic sensitivity. So the main difference that can be felt or noticed is by the practitioner, and the two are completely different. Trance mediumship, on the other hand, must be done by a trance medium, whereas Reiki can be done by any person who has the time and energy to hold space and learn and go through that process of learning and the initiation processes. There are 3 levels of Reiki. Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and Reiki 3 is Reiki Master. And there is no ego associated with that word master in Reiki. It just means teacher. So once you get to the master level, it just means that you have successfully gone through the process of traditionally several years of mentorship, to be honest, that you have been ordained with the ability to initiate other Reiki practitioners. There are special symbols associated with that piece of it for the Reiki master. I love Reiki, I have to tell you guys. So what else is different about Reiki? It's just the way it's passed down is a little bit differently, and everyone has access and ability to do Reiki. It is available to everyone. It is not something that anyone can't learn. I mean, children can learn to do Reiki. It's a hands-on healing or a distant healing using the energy that's all around us and specific symbols associated with Reiki to balance and move the energy to encourage that person, the recipient's physical and energetic bodies to heal and balance themselves. Trance mediumship, on the other hand, is a little different. Trance mediumship can only be done by a trance medium. Most people, the way that you know that you're a trance medium is that you can do trance mediumship. There are different forms of trance mediumship, but in this case, we're talking about healing trance mediumship. So there are other types, but for healing trance mediumship, the medium is able to put themselves into a meditative state and then move themselves to a very deep, altered meditative state where we move our consciousness to the side is the best way that I can explain it. And a healing guide is welcomed forward. Some people work with one particular guide. Some people work with various guides and ascended masters, depending on the tradition that you were taught in. I do both myself, depending on the situation. I do have one guide that I work with pretty frequently, but there are others that will swap in depending on the need of the recipient. So I have a healing guide that is then able to channel their energy through my physical body to offer healing to the recipient. It's a different type of healing that comes directly from the spirit world, and it is provided directly to the recipient through the body of the trance medium. Now, you may ask, does that mean that I have to be physically present with you? No, it doesn't. Energy does not follow the same rules. There's no time and space on the other side. So energy can move freely, just like sound waves and video waves can move freely. So trance medium healing is equally effective whether it's done in person, over the phone, or via video the way that you see me now. All of these methods work equally well. And in fact, some people even prefer these days to be at home just because it feels a little safer and more secure and they have a little more privacy. So the trance medium goes into this meditative state, is silent for the entire healing, and I sometimes, as the trance medium, will report back some information at the end. I should say that with Reiki, I often go over what we did throughout the session, what I became aware of, where I saw either energetic blocks, as we call them, or really they're just stuck emotions. So I kind of go over everything at the end of a Reiki session, whereas at the end of a trance session, since my consciousness is to the side and altered, I'm not really involved in the healing in this personality that you know. It's the healing guide that is providing the healing. So I might become aware of one or two pieces of guidance or suggestions for the recipient that I can share at the end of the healing. But often it's the recipient sharing more of their experience with me because my consciousness is to the side. So I'm becoming aware of very little and just really moving my awareness to the side so that that healing guide has full ability to use my physical body to pass healing on to the recipient. So those are the basic differences between a Reiki healing and trance medium healing. They are both powerful and amazing in their own right. They're just two completely different methods of healing. One, I'm fully conscious and fully aware. Reiki, while I'm actively participating in the healing in a different way, and able to psychically become aware of colors or changes and relay that information after the session. And trance mediumship, which can only be done by a trance medium, is a little bit different because my consciousness is to the side, so I'm not becoming aware of as much information. I'm just holding that space for the healing guide from the other side to really work through me and provide that spirit healing to the recipient. I know this is complex and there might be a lot of questions that arise from my explanation. So please, if you have questions, feel free to share them in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube, or shoot me an email directly if you want to privately ask me a question about which healing modality might be right for you or might be the best choice for you at this time. I really think everyone should experience both. I've experienced both types many times and have found value in both of them. So that's why I practice both. I look forward to hearing your questions or your stories about either one of these healing modalities.